Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Hope everybody's having a great weekend and first part of the week. We have a tremendous number of tropical systems to talk about here. We're continuing to watch Invest 91L here in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. That could develop and hit South Texas. We are looking at newly formed Tropical Storm Franklin here into the eastern Caribbean, and that could become a hurricane. And we're actually looking at what's left of Tropical Depression 6. It's on its way out. We also have Tropical Storm Emily. We'll see where that storm's going. And we have another system out here off the Cape Verde Islands. And if that weren't enough, we're still dealing with Tropical Storm Hilary taking aim on Southern California. Let's get into it. All right, so the eastern Gulf of Mexico here, we're looking at our Invest 91L, likely to become another system. So we're going to really start racking up the names here. This is by 11 a.m. on Monday morning, so it's right across the central Gulf here. The European model continues to bring this in. If you take a look here, this is Monday evening, and as we head towards Monday morning, or Tuesday morning for that matter, Corpus Christi down to Brownsville, that is where we're looking for a possible landfall for this system. Also, lots of heavy rain continuing on into Tuesday, well inland, making it as far north as San Antonio. Now, we have our newly formed Tropical Storm Franklin down here. This is rapidly intensifying. It's likely to become a maximum tropical storm just before it reaches the island of Hispaniola. That's going to be later in the afternoon on Tuesday. Now, it looks like the guidance is taking this storm, if we take a just continue to progress this storm, becoming much better organized here. There it is, 8 p.m. Tuesday evening. This storm gaining strength. I do have bad news for Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. You're not going to get any rain out of this, but you'll likely see rain as we get towards the latter part of the week into next weekend into the following week. And I'll have those amounts momentarily, but you're going to get tremendous rains from Hispaniola over to Puerto Rico here. I'll have those rainfall totals here momentarily as well. It looks like guidance is showing the European model taking this system right over the mountains. So we'll have to see if this actually holds together. Guidance is suggesting it is here. And once it gets on the other side of Hispaniola, it's likely to intensify into a hurricane. Now we're showing category 1 here, but would not be surprised if this does hold together, that it becomes maybe a 2. Here's the island of Bermuda. Now watch this. This is something we need to really keep a close eye on because the steering currents become very weak through this because we got a trough of low pressure off the U.S. East Coast. We got a retreating subtropical high up northeast of the Azores here. So right in this region is where we have an area of very weak steering currents. So watch what happens with the European model. If you have interest in Bermuda, keep an eye out for this because the European is wanting to take this between the United States and Bermuda. This is by the 29th. Here it is in the 30th. So it becomes dangerously close to the island of Bermuda. Here's the East Coast as well. So this is 234 hours out. A lot can change between now and then. But this is something we got to keep an eye on. Here is Tropical Depression 6. This is not going to really become a thing. It's basically, its moisture will become absorbed by Tropical Storm Franklin. Here is Emily out here. Thankfully, this storm is going to be a fish storm, likely recurving around this subtropical high, missing southeast Canada. It is on a weakening trend, too, so by about 36 hours from now, it's likely to be a tropical depression. And look at our next area of interest, 60% chance from the Cape Verde Islands into the MDR. We're going to be watching this system all week. It could actually develop as well. So watch this. This storm continues towards the north. It does look kind of weak, and as you know with a weaker storm, we definitely need to keep an eye on this because they can actually bend a little bit further to the west, and that's what's going to start to happen with this high-pressure system. As it builds towards the southwest, you can see this system continues to move towards the northwest. It's this system right here that comes off the Cape Verde Islands right around the 25th and the 26th behind it. It's going to get very difficult to keep track of all these systems because there's going to be so many, one right after another. But here it is. You can see progressing towards the west-northwest. This is another system by the 30th of August we're going to have to really keep a close eye on. And there's that big system behind it. Definitely need to keep a close watch on this as well. Now, I turn my attention to the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Let's just back up here. Here it is. So right around the 24th, see the system here into the Eastern Pacific. Both models are still indicating that this is going to try to flip across Central America and reemerge into the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. And if it does this, look what happens. It's going to bring moisture up through Central America, but also the Cayman Islands, maybe as far east as Jamaica as well. This is right around the 26th, 27th, and 28th. Look at that moisture developing there into the Gulf of Mexico as well. This could actually be a pretty formidable system. We'll have to keep an eye on for development. We got plenty of time to watch it as well. The system kind of pinwheels towards the northeast, and it is pretty far out, but the peninsula here of Florida may have some problems with this system. It's also going to drag a tremendous amount of tropical moisture up here across the western part of the Caribbean. But look at this. Yeah, this is something, I mean, it's always good to take a look at this far out because it gives us the trend. Not to say it's going to be in the Florida area, but something to really keep a close eye on. So here the GFS with our Invest 91L Gulf system. You can see the GFS really agreeing with the European model, even strengthening it a bit beyond what the European model was showing. Landfall, here it is, just south of Corpus Christi, north of Brownsville. This is right around the morning, 5 a.m., between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. Monday morning. So lots of rainfall for South Texas. That's some great news. We'll check and see how strong that's going to get. Here we go with Franklin. Take a look at Franklin here. So the GFS really blowing this storm up. It's kind of been ahead of the Euro as with intensity. So it is possible that this system could resemble a Category 1 hurricane by the time it reaches the island of Hispaniola, right around, say, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That looks to be about the time frame of this system. The GFS is a little bit further to the east and stronger, which would keep the center of circulation more on the eastern part of the island, away from the really big mountainous terrain just to the west. So that could have implications as well if the GFS does turn out to be more correct. Kind of leaning towards the Euro at this point, but look what the GFS does with this system. Very weak steering currents, as I cautioned you here on the European model. Here with the GFS, the same thing's going on. Very weak steering currents. There's that trough of low pressure, high pressure retreating up here towards the Azores. Watch what happens. This is the 26th. So there's the island of Bermuda. There's Hamilton, Bermuda. GFS takes this dangerously right into Bermuda, the east side of it, right around the 27th into the 28th, and then accelerates it just off the U.S. East Coast, affecting parts of eastern New England, and basically here, landfall in Nova Scotia, right around the 29th of August. So if this were to happen, that would be a very high-impact storm. If you take a look, what's going on with Emily here, there it is, a fish storm. It is getting caught up here into this trough of low pressure towards August 23rd here. So the next system behind it, behind Emily, that's the system we'll be watching for another potential name storm here. If it does trend weaker, it will stay further south. The GFS is stronger and further north with this system. The European is more weaker and further to the south with this system. But here it is. Watch how quickly it blows it up here hurricane-wise. Yeah, very formidable hurricane here on the GFS, making its exit because it's so strong, finding a weakness around that area of high pressure. And as we continue out here, you can see the Cape Verde season is going to be far from over. Now, as we head back towards the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, there is that area on the 24th into the Eastern Pacific. Watch it flip here across Central America, similar to the way it did on the European model. It's a little bit further to the west, so it doesn't get Jamaica fully in on the tropical moisture until the 26th into the 27th. But look at this. Yeah, regeneration there across the south central Gulf and western part. It doesn't strengthen it, though. near as much as the European model. And Tropical Storm Hilary still packing a punch here, unraveling, and as it does so, it's going to produce tremendous amounts of rain. It is picking up in forward speed, so I expect this system to be just east of San Diego, if you look, or northeast of San Diego, by about 8 p.m. Sunday evening. And look at how fast it starts to accelerate. That's the only saving grace for the rainfall. However, rainfall amounts are going to be significant. So, despite it forward speed, which is going to increase the wind speeds, gusts over 65 miles per hour possible. You see, it's still a moderate tropical storm this Sunday evening. And then it heads up to parts of Nevada on early Monday into Monday night. And a Tuesday, you can see it's way up here into parts of southeast Canada by that point. So this system is going to have tremendous historic impacts. This does not happen very often. Please, if you're in flood zones, you're going to have to keep an eye on this because flooding could actually occur in areas that you're not used to it. And watch out for those winds. Winds are going to be gusting quite a bit. All right, so Hilary on the GFS here. Let's take a look here. Yeah, storm continuing northward here pretty rapidly. Let's see. There we go. So this is the 20th at 5 p.m., Sunday at 5 p.m. So yeah, it's really lining up here with the European model. GFS is accelerating this even faster than the European model, though. But you get the idea here. This is going to be high-impact storm. Is there anything that we have to worry about behind it here? Well, let's take a look. It looks a bit quieter as of late here. So, we might settle into a quiet period here across the Eastern Pacific after Hilary. So rainfall totals out of Hilary here as we look throughout the rest of Sunday into Monday. Yeah, this is quite a big deal. This is an average of 3 to 6 inches, locally higher 4 to 8 inches. Would not be surprised if the higher terrain in some of these areas gets upwards of 10 to 15 inches. So yeah, heed those flash flood warnings, advisories. This is a big life-threatening deal. Mid-layer dry air analysis thanks to tropicaltidbits.com. Take a look at this. Yeah, Emily, you can see what's killing Emily out here, dry air. Now, Franklin's got quite a bit of moist air as well as Invest 91L here into the Gulf of Mexico. That's just going to continue. Here's our next system that we're going to be watching as well. As we continue to go in time, that's one of the big things with these storms is the dry air. It doesn't look like Franklin has to worry too much until about the August 25th. You do see some dry air on the northwest side here, but you can see each system has its own problems when it comes to dry air. And as we continue out here through the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th, you can see that's going to continue to be the common theme here. You can see on the European model, though, look what's happening here. These are dual hurricanes in very close proximity of each other. So that's going to be interesting to watch. European model is extremely robust on these systems. So taking a look at sea surface temperatures, we are still boiling here in the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, we're upwards of 2 to as much as 3.5, 4+ degrees above average here. This is crazy. Even out into the main development region of the Atlantic, on average, we're running about 1 to 2+ degrees here. It is craziness. If we didn't have the effects of El Nino really kicking in, these storms would really take off massively. So here we go with rainfall amounts. The big story there is going to be in the island of Hispaniola as we head through, look at this. Yeah, let's just back it up just a little bit. So we're taking it through this week. Here we're leaving off with Saturday. Next Saturday, August 26th. You see we're going to see upwards of 200, 250 millimeters, close to 300 millimeters. That's getting upwards of 4 to 8 inches plus, locally higher to a foot of rain or more, especially in these higher terrain of Haiti and Western Dominican Republic. Even Puerto Rico here getting on the the southern shores, probably upwards of 90 to 150 millimeters. That's getting up towards 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rainfall. And here into Latin America, look at that. Belize is going to be upwards of 100 millimeters, which you'll be seeing 3 to 4 inches. So yeah, Jamaica, we don't quite get in on the rain until we get that tropical system that starts to cross over from the central Eastern Pacific and then head northward the following week. As we get towards the 26th to the 30th, that's where we'll rack up rainfall totals 80 to 120 millimeters from Jamaica over to the Cayman Islands. That will be a solid 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And as we head over towards the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico, there it is. Lesser Antilles kind of getting a rain shadow here. There's that what's left of 6. Not going to be much of a thing as its moisture kind of gets absorbed into Franklin. So there it is, island of Hispaniola. I'm worried about 10 to 15 inches, which would be 200, 300 plus millimeters of rainfall. And heading on to the Western Pacific, it is eerily quiet out here. Look at this. We have nothing really to talk about. Maybe some heavy rains in the northern Philippines as we head through, throughout later in the week. But yeah. But for the most part, it does not look bad. We have a low-pressure system out here we'll keep an eye on. But for the most part, the big story is going to be those heavy rains in the northern Philippines. See how they're heading actually from west to east instead of with the trade winds here? So that's pretty kind of curious, and that's probably keeping any tropical development at bay for the time being. You can see heavy rains continuing on August 26th and really ramping up by the 27th here. That continuing to go further to the east, and then we start to see a system start to slow down just west of the northern Philippines. We also have another system just east of the Philippines. So we'll keep an eye on it here, but nothing in the short to medium term. So as we head to the Western Pacific with our GFS model, yeah, GFS kind of hinting that there's not too much to talk about. This is kind of weird out here. Yeah, we have some few areas we need to watch as we head towards, say, the 26th. But yeah, the GFS kind of hinting just like the European model. There's not too much to talk about until we get later in the month. Look at this. This is towards the 29th of August here. This feature here in the Philippines might hold on, and we might actually have to worry about a few of these storms out here in the intertropical convergence zone. So yeah, as we continue in time here, heading with the last frame there around the 29th, this is where things really start to ramp up. So the intertropical convergence zone going crazy here. All right, so Invest 91L here. Take a look at this. Those showers and storms are going to be moving out of the South Florida area by Sunday night here. See how they're pulling away? This thing's going to book it here across the Gulf of Mexico, making it to the Central Gulf by around 10 a.m. on Monday morning. You can see plenty of showers and thunderstorms, some feeder bands making it as far north as just south of New Orleans. And as you can see, this system's really on a tear here as we get into Monday evening. You can see right around 8 p.m. here, this storm looks like it's going to come in somewhere between Corpus Christi and Brownsville, Texas. You can see right around 5 a.m. on the 22nd, this Tuesday. Look at that. There's the center of circulation. It's going to come in. This run is taking it just south of Corpus Christi at 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So bringing the worst of the weather just north of it and along the path of the circulation. That's the worst of the weather. And that heads inland, pushing heavy rain as far north as San Antonio. So a large area of South Texas getting some beneficial rains here. And as we go over towards Hilary here, Tropical Storm Hilary, this storm is packing a punch. You see by Sunday evening, still a moderate tropical storm, gusts up to 65 miles per hour. That's going to be the big story with this storm. Tremendous wind with its forward speed, but also heavy rainfall. Even though the rain will be moving fast, we're still going to get on the order, as I showed you before. Rainfall totals 4 to 8 inches, locally higher areas of 12 to 15. So please heed those flash flood warnings. This is a life-threatening situation, and this storm's going to be moving fast. You see by 7 a.m., look where it is on Monday morning. It's all the way up in Nevada here. And this storm is on its way to Western Canada. See how quickly it moves right up into Canada by Tuesday morning. Now, what's going on here across the east here? The only thing I see happening, look how dry it is from Monday. Look at most of Monday there. Exception, as you get into northern parts of New York, New England, you start to see this area of scattered showers. But on this run, it actually doesn't look so bad. So, yeah, there's some areas here that may see a 20% chance later in the afternoon and evening on Monday. But for the most part, it actually doesn't look that bad at this moment. And the only thing I see starting to develop here, you can start to see the sign here in the northern Great Lakes. Our next system is diving south, but by the time it gets to the Great Lakes, especially the eastern Great Lakes, it's a bit moisture starved. And you can see this is right around 2 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon, the 22nd. It actually looks pretty moisture starved. So that high pressure really setting up across the eastern part of the country, making it very, very nice. I have plenty more weather here. Stay tuned for the rest of my video, but I have a quick announcement here from my affiliate. Take a look at this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease, or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So here's the European run. Let's take a rundown here. Of course, I showed you on the mesoscale model. European model's pretty much the same here. European model, there it is, taking Invest 90L here or 91L, I should say, into southern Texas. So there's 91L. 90 is still way off your screen here. There's some showers and thunderstorms there in the Great Lakes, as I showed you on the mesoscale model. That drops south. High pressure cresting overhead in the eastern Great Lakes. As we continue in time here, we may see some stronger showers and thunderstorms as we get into later Wednesday night and Thursday morning across the Ohio Valley, lower Great Lakes, western Pennsylvania. But for the most part, we're looking high and dry across much of the east. That continues, chances of showers and thunderstorms. We could see some strong showers and thunderstorms into parts of western Pennsylvania, northeast Ohio, into western Pennsylvania as well. And look at that. Yeah, that's some strong showers and thunderstorms as we head into Friday morning, late Thursday night, Friday morning, parts of northern Ohio. Here getting into the New England region, some showers and thunderstorms as well. That low pressure's hanging out for next Friday here across the Northeast, so that'll keep showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. But look at that, by later next weekend, high pressure crests overhead, and we build in a very beautiful weekend, late weekend, I should say, across the Northeast. Now look at here showing up. There's that hurricane 981 millibars showing up just south of Bermuda. So yeah, it's showing up on our European model here. Oh, so let's take a look at liquid equivalent precipitation amounts. Here we go. So we'll take it through the rest of the week. Look at the theme here. There's the moisture with Hilary. Tremendous rainfall in Southern California, Southern Nevada. Here's South Texas. Yeah, we're getting upwards of 2.5, 3.5 inches of rain. Southern California, 4 to 8 inches of rain plus. And then here in the Central Plains, this is all later this week here. Thursday, Friday, early Saturday here across the Ohio Valley into the Northeast, where we could get upwards of 1.5 to as much as 3.5 inches of rain. And rainfall here in northern New England as well. So getting into the Northeast here, you got a pretty dry week ahead of you until you get into about Wednesday night and Thursday. See this? Yeah. Thursday in particular, showers and thunderstorms likely. It's interesting, Cleveland, there's kind of like a rain shadow here, but I still think you'll get on the act of some of these showers and thunderstorms, averaging probably around 1/2 inch up to, look at Erie, Pennsylvania here, upwards of 3 inches. So you average this out, you're probably going to see about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain and some of these heavier showers and thunderstorms. And as we continue into next weekend, here it is. So yeah, New England gets in on the act as well, averaging about 3/4 to 1.25 inches of rainfall. So our temperature outlook here, here's the massive heat dome. That's, the big story. Cooler temperatures out west here with what's left of Hurricane Hilary by this point. Coming toasty here in the Ohio Valley, exception of Cleveland on northward, staying in the upper 70s. Look at that. But toasty here into the Northeast, low to mid 90s in some of the big cities. We head on into Tuesday, and, we start to get that reinforcement shot of cooler air, staying in the 70s here from the Ohio Valley northeastward here. But look into southern Ohio, get into the 90s pretty quickly. Hundreds here into South Dakota to Iowa. That is crazy. Take a look at your Wednesday here. Yeah, the common theme is this massive heat dome spreads a little bit further to the east here. We're still staying temperate here into the 70s into the northeast, but these hundreds are heading east. Look at this. This is by Thursday. We could be seeing mid-90s here in Detroit, 90 in Cleveland, 91 in Pittsburgh, 98 here around the Columbus area. This is kind of crazy. And look at 110s here across eastern Texas and Louisiana. That is dangerous. That does start to shift towards the east, though. You see the 90s spreading into southern Pennsylvania. Florida continuing to bake as well into your Friday the 25th. Look at here into Saturday the 26th. Cooler air blasting south here. 70s across this entire area. Even some 60s here into northern New England. But look at that, 98 degrees in Atlanta. Hundreds spreading across the south. Extended outlook from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania from Binghamton to Scranton. Monday, we will have some late day showers, particularly between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. They won't amount to much, though, up towards 86 degrees, so the toastiest day of them all on to Tuesday. Clouds giving away to sunny skies, 77 degrees. Look at that sleeping weather. Wednesday morning, 50, 54 for Thursday as well. Wednesday is your best day, sunny skies into Thursday and Friday. A frontal boundary moves in from the west, so we could have a few scattered showers, particularly after 3 p.m. both days. 76 for your Thursday and 84 for Friday. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MeteoMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes out.